well-known fact that we're all fans of airplanes on this channel, but we do have to admit that, especially short-haul flying isn't necessarily good for the planet. Maybe I should rather take the 2-hour train ride from Frankfurt to Nuremberg in Germany than the 45-minute Lufthansa flight. That's true. But everybody, today we're going to talk about this airplane right here, which might just change that. Everybody, right now we're standing in front of the Heart Aerospace ES30. I mean, we've heard so much of, electric airplanes, electric air taxis, but I think Heart Aerospace is actually quite close to making this airplane a reality. I mean, as we see it right here in the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, we have the exact airplane in real life as well, as a prototype. It's called the X1 right here, and it's supposed to make its first flight next year, in probably like the second quarter of 2025, which is going to be really interesting. Today, I wanted to do the first flight earlier, so here we go. We have this new plane in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's take a look at this airplane in the walk-around mode. We have 4 engines right here, and I found this very, very interesting. They have different sizes. In fact, they are completely different. The inner engines from the outside engines. Look, we can remove the engine cover off of the outside engine right here. Right here, engine cover removed, but the inner engines don't have that. And I quickly found out why that is. See, the big problem about electric airplanes is, of course, range. This airplane will not get you across the Atlantic at all. That's true. In fact, the electric engines only have a range of 200 kilometers. Not long at all. Okay, maybe barely long enough to make this flight from Frankfurt to Nuremberg, which is 188 kilometers, but yeah, not long at all, which is why this airplane is not fully electric, but hybrid. And you see, even the engine configuration is hybrid. Here we have turboprop engines. They're a lot smaller, and they have big exhaust and big engine covers we can remove, and this is an electric engine. Aha! This is how the hybrid is made. Let's go ahead and, by the way, remove the static port cover right here, also the pitot cover. And with its hybrid mode, this airplane can fly now 800 kilometers, which isn't that bad, but I mean, the ATR-42, which I see pretty much the direct combustion engine competitor, can fly twice the distances, twice the range. But still, there is a market for these very small range airplanes, which is why the airplane already has 250 firm orders. United Airlines, US, and Air Canada are the biggest customers so far. Let me take a look and do this flight. Let's go ahead and remove the chocks. All right. Perfect. What I find incredible about this aircraft is that it already exists in real life. I mean, the company has been around since 2019. I mean, literally, the Swiss Air One YouTube channel is older than the company that made this airplane. And they want to fly for the first time in 1 year. Now, this is the cockpit. It couldn't be more simple, very automated airplane, which makes sense, very much reduces the workload on the pilots. Let's do some exploration here into the cabin. This is a very small airplane. We have to consider that. Look at the cabin. It really is not for carrying lots and lots of passengers. This thing only has 30 seats, which can put it in like the market of maybe the ERJ-135, which has 37 seats. That's not too bad. What we can definitely see already is that this airplane must be super light. Take a look at those very light seat. Now, I wouldn't want to sit in that seat for a very long flight, but for a short haul, this is fine. Look at the very lightweight seat pouch right here, which probably does the job just as well as the regular one, but it probably weighs less. Although when you're talking about this kind of weight reduction, it's important what passengers had for breakfast. Anyway, I kind of like this. Maybe see, we have this baggage door right here, and we have a lavatory, and you can even use a razor on this thing. But don't use it for long, because that will reduce the range. No, just kidding. But enough yapping around. It's time to fly this airplane now. Let's see if I can start this up. This very much interests me. Let's turn on the low voltage battery 1 and low voltage battery 2 on, which I guess turns on the Garmin instruments. Which is great. These are, G3000? So looks like it. Looks like a normal private jet cockpit. Very simplified, though. It almost looks unreal. Okay, let's turn on the high voltage battery. And that's, I guess, for the engines or something like that. I have no idea. Yes, here it is. Here we can turn on the electric engines. So start engine number 2 and number 3. The inner engines indeed. And yeah, they're coming on. They're coming on already. That was a very simple startup. No APU needed, none of that needed at all, and the airplane is already ready to go. Now, I guess for takeoff, to get maximum power, we're gonna turn on engine number 4 and number 1 as well, which are the turboprop engines. Right here, they're open. That is good. Fuel pump on. This is once again the old engines. By the way, this is wrong. It should say engine number 1 and number 4 here, not number 2, right? And number 2 is electric. It doesn't have a fuel valve. Okay, let's turn on engine number 1. Yeah, and they're turning on as well. Very simplified. It's just funny to see how different the propellers are in size. All right, condition lever. Yeah, put some fuel in there. Once again, the outer engines. This is normal turboprop plane. That's good. All right, engines are all on. Now, we are here at Courchevel because I'm quite confident in this airplane. See? I've never flown an electric airplane. There's, for example, the PP Sorel plane, which kind of sucks. But something that people always say about that airplane is that it accelerates extremely fast, just like electric cars. It can provide a lot of torque at one moment. It's like a very fast responding airplane. And so this should be good. We have a wing that's very long, kind of reminds me of a glider wing, so this airplane should be very nice in terms of takeoff performance. Let's go ahead and put the flaps down to 15 degrees right here. Very nice. And go full power. Yes. And we can hear not much. Okay, yeah, the turboprop engines are providing quite a lot of noise, but of course the electric engines, you can only hear the wind that it generates. Come on, let's do it now. Give me all you got, airplane. I like how the nose landing gear just despawns. Okay, come on, take off now. Yeah, no. All right, there we go. We have performed a takeoff. Honestly, the performance doesn't seem very bad. It's interesting. This airplane is quite a bit different in terms of how it looks in comparison to modern airplanes. Like the fuselage seems a little bit narrow for that long wing. Also, look at the landing gear doors. All right, let's go ahead and get the landing gear up. Come on, landing gear's up. Help! I can't put the landing gear up. What the hell is wrong with you, Microsoft Flight Simulator? Look, it literally says up like that is like the light is broken as well. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator indeed. Anyway, we are flying nicely now. We are definitely not the fastest airplane. We're not a jet. We're not very much climbing a lot out of this airport. But, I mean, look at the wing sweep, which is non-existent. So speed is not really a thing that this airplane will ever be good at. We'll definitely be faster than car or train. Anyway, we are now nicely flying. We're barely climbing. All right, the performance is kind of like maybe the same as it says in a Caravan. Anyway, now something we can do is shut off the engine number 1 and number 4 and fly electric only. Now, we don't have an engine page here at all. We have no engine instruments. God, Microsoft, what kind of job is this? We have no engine instruments. Help! All right, anyway, we can hear engine number 1 and number 4 shutting down, and now it's only electric. And this airplane is nicely quiet. Now, this is not very fair for this airplane because our landing gear is down, but our performance really sucked. We're at 130 knots. I mean, a Cessna could probably overtake this, and we're actually descending. Yes, maybe put the landing gear up. That could be a good idea. But look, it works and it flies. All right, and now I've just respawned to the airplane at St. Bartholomew. Now the instruments completely stopped working. What a shame. Anyway, come on. Let's come in for our landing. We have our backup instrument, which still works fine. We have a head-up display right here, which... Come on, yeah, which doesn't work. Well, big womp there. Anyway, we're using all our 4 engines to land. I mean, what I was saying is kind of true. The S-30 is supposed to have a minimum runway of 1,100 meters, 3,600 feet. That is genuinely low for 30 passengers. That's genuinely good. I think these engines will have even reverse thrust. It says it down there. And we all know reverse thrust is my favorite 2 words. Okay. Let's land. We can fly at a very remarkably low airspeed. That's really good. Flaps come down all the way to 35 degrees. We're now at 110 knots. Airplane flies happily still. Let's go ahead and touch down now. Make a smooth landing with our first electric airplane. Yes, take a look at that. And then hold down. Yes! Oh my! What a great stopping performance right here. I think St. Barth has found its perfect airplane. I mean, the range is definitely enough to go fly to the big islands that have big airports, like Princess Diana, you know? That's insane. Now, since this airplane has never flown in real life, we don't know the simple facts, like what's the cruise altitude? And what is the range really? So let's maybe go ahead and test that out. Fill up the fuel tanks and the batteries all the way. Now fuel at 100%. Let's go ahead and take off here at St. Barth. It probably shouldn't be an issue. Here we go. Release the brakes. Release the beast. Yeah, shut up, ATC. I can't hear you anymore. All right. Generally, shut up. Let's go and put the flaps down all the way now to take off. Let's utilize that huge wing and the huge flap surface that comes out. Yes, look at that. Okay, we should have used a bit of a longer bit of that runway, but there we go. A little bit of Jesus flying. We are able to climb out of here while slightly overstressing the engines. That can sometimes happen. Can we put the landing gear? Now the landing gear will come up. That's perfect. Door closes and it looks great. Now, let's go ahead and turn on autopilot like that and see, where can we fly? Maybe we can fly all the way to Miami if we're lucky. Let's also see how high we can fly it all. So there we go. Let's head towards the north. Here's, of course, mainland Florida. Let's keep flying and climbing. We're not climbing very fast. Okay. All right, let's speed up the simulator, which should work well. Okay. Looking good. Everything is good. We're nicely climbing here. The sim rate is up, so I'm kind of speeding up time faster, but this still simulates how much fuel and battery this airplane uses. 20,000 feet is absolutely fine. Can be because of the sim rate, the autopilot struggles to keep altitude, so we keep that in mind. By the way, I like how the instruments are all completely hopelessly broken. It's a shame. But we're flying nicely. We're not very fast. We're not at Mach 0.4. We're just a slightly slower than the ATR-42s. That's not too bad. All right, I'll just keep it flying. See how long it lasts. I'm gonna leave the table here. I'm gonna let you have some fun. Oh, I've just returned and I've seen we've run out of fuel. Some reason the engine's still... Okay, now we're actually slowly losing altitude. We're right now here next to the island of Cuba, and that was a flight of roughly 1,600 kilometers. So someone must be wrong there. Probably the Microsoft Flight Simulator or the airplane manufacturer. I wouldn't quite believe, though, that they would lie about the performance. By the way, for some reason, the second engine is still providing power. Why? Okay, also, I would have expected the second and the third engine to fail first. Once again, the electric ones. I don't know. So, everybody, the Heart Aerospace HE30. Probably the future of short-haul flying. I'm definitely a fan of the idea of making a hybrid airplane like this, because it makes a lot of sense before we have any proper way of storing lots of electricity. So, everybody, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. As always, good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters, Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Fanner, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New York. You've got beautiful names.